trying to kidnap a baby in a stroller. Kylie Danielle Burnham is now facing attempted kidnapping and assault charges after prosecutors claim she tried pulling a 3-week-old baby's stroller away from his grandmother. Burnham was already awaiting trial for drug-related charges. Prosecutors are asking she be held without bail. KSL's top national stories. President Trump is asking Israel's government to pardon Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He's accused of taking part in fraud and bribery before the war in Gaza started. Israeli President Herzog is in charge of issuing pardons and says that a formal request needs to be submitted. More from ABC's Ian Pannell.
In a statement, President Herzog responding that he holds President Trump in the highest regard, but that anyone seeking a pardon has to submit a formal request. An opposition leader, Yair Lapid, issuing a reminder that Israeli law stipulates that the first condition for receiving a pardon is an admission of guilt and an expression of remorse. Neither of those things have happened.
It sparked concern about the U.S. influence over the Israeli government. Ukraine's justice minister is also dealing with a corruption scandal. Prosecutors say that officials and an associate of President Zelensky were involved, but there's no evidence the president was involved in the scheme or knew what was going on.
Prosecutors allege that they uncovered a $100 million kickback scheme involving contracts to build defenses for Ukraine's energy system. Today, Ukraine's justice minister was suspended after he was implicated in the investigation. A former deputy prime minister is also a suspect, but intense scrutiny is most on a former business partner of Zelensky called Timur Mindich. Mindich is a longtime associate of Zelensky who is a co-owner of the president's former production company. And he's now accused of trying to exploit his connection with Zelensky.
That is ABC's Patrick Reevell reporting. Other stories we are following, pennies are on their way to going extinct, so Utah officials are making recommendations to businesses about whether to round up or down. Katie Haas, director of Utah's Division of Consumer Protection, tells Inside Sources businesses have discretion on which way to round, but they just need to make sure customers are aware. Their recommendation?
If it's a penny or two, you go down to the nearest dollar. If it's or the nearest zero number, the 10, the lower 10. If it's 3, 4, you go up to 5, 6, 7, you go back down.
However,
8, 9, you go back up.
She says the rounding has to happen after taxes have been calculated. First look traffic, here's Cormac Bone.
Crash in Davis County, and this is in Bountiful at 400 North, still causing major delays and lane closures. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
Every child deserves to feel safe, seen, heard, and loved. The Children's Center Utah helps make that possible. For more than 60 years, their expert team has provided life-changing mental health care for young children and their families. This care plays a crucial role when a child's development matters most, providing early intervention and the tools they need to thrive before a family faces significant crisis and expense. Addressing crucial mental, behavioral, and emotional concerns now. Today, the Children's Center Utah is expanding, bringing hope and healing to even more communities across Utah. This outreach will ensure greater access for more Utah children and their families. You'll hear more about it in the days and weeks ahead. In the meantime, if a child in your life needs support, the Children's Center Utah is here to help. Visit childrencenterutah.org to learn, give, or get involved. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Mr. Max, suiting for every important chapter of your life. Weddings, proms, new job, any celebration, mission callings, and more. Mr. Max there to suit your needs with 9 locations or MrMac.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Recapping our top local story this half hour, Utah's Colorado River Commissioner says the 7 states that share the river are still working on a deal, and it should be all worked out and finalized by mid-February. KSL News Time, 12:38. BYU's first loss to Texas Tech last week hit them hard, knocking them down in the college football playoff rankings. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman has more.
The Cougars took a bit of a hit in the second college football playoff rankings released last night, dropping from number 7 overall down to number 12. The initial excitement that BYU fans felt early on is a little bit tarnished, but KSL Sports Zone host Hans Olsen says that playoff dream is still very attainable.
The hope is very much still alive. I think every game that BYU has left on their schedule is a very winnable game.
Texas Tech has dethroned BYU as the highest ranked team in the Big 12, but the Cougars still have the edge on the Utes. They stayed in the same number 13 spot. Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
High school football fans can already score a win even before the kickoff. Utah Transit Authority is giving free rides on tracks and buses to the high school football playoff games at Rice-Eccles Stadium this week. UTA's Gavin Gustafson says there are many advantages to taking transit to the game.
You save money on parking. You save hassle on trying to find a spot. You save, your leg muscles having to, walk across campus.
Now, he says the best plan is to catch a ride far away from the stadium to get a seat before the train or bus is crowded with fans. The first semifinal game is Thursday. The Utah Jazz snapped their 3-game losing streak last night against the Indiana Pacers with a 24-point blowout win at home. Rookie Ace Bailey scored a career-high 20 points in the win, including a putback layup to beat the first-half buzzer.
Up and out, tapped up by Mikhailuk. How about Markkanen? Once, twice! And who was that, Big T? Who was that? Baby, Ace Bailey.
That's how it sounded on SEG Media. Larry Markkanen also had a big game with 35 points. The Jazz will be back at home tomorrow night to take on Atlanta. Emergency traffic coverage continues, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Cormac Bone.
Well, the crash and vehicle fire that's been impacting Davis County in on I-15 in Bountiful is now open for southbound travel, I-15 in Bountiful. Northbound traffic is still getting through on only 2 open lanes. Delays are still heavy between Farmington and North Salt Lake. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dialing up some cloud cover today. We'll call it mostly cloudy, but a high mild still in the low 60s. 46 overnight, clearing skies. Tomorrow, 69, breezy out of the south, mostly sunny. Could tie or break a record for the daytime high. 65 on Friday, mostly cloudy, with only a 30% chance now to see a shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's mostly cloudy in downtown Salt Lake City and 59 degrees. And still to come on Midday, the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints is launching the giving machines across the state. We'll hear from some leaders within the church on just how big of a difference they can make. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
When you crash your car, you get it fixed. When your computer crashes, you get a new one. But what will you do if you've been saving in a 401k or an IRA and the market crashes? If you're in your 30s or 40s, you'll be just fine. But if you're in or near retirement, you could be in trouble. Mike Stevens and his team at Capital Wealth Advisors are here to help. They can run a risk analysis to see if you're too heavily invested in the market. Don't let the ups and downs of Wall Street control you or your retirement dreams. Call 801-210-5500 today to schedule your risk analysis with Mike Stevens and the team at Capital Wealth Advisors. That's 801-210-5500. Crashes happen. Question is, are you ready? Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a product development manager, I make sure every piece of fine jewelry at Shane Company is meticulously designed for quality. From 14-karat gold chains, pearl necklaces, diamond studs, and of course, dream engagement rings. We know you can get your holiday gifts anywhere these days, but knowing your loved one's gift was crafted by master jewelers? It's a difference everyone can see and feel, no matter the price. All of our fine jewelry begins with a vision by our in-house designers. Then, we ensure each piece meets our high-quality standards every step of the way, including the smallest details. It's why our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive, free lifetime warranty that covers everything and doesn't cost a dime. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend wants your fine jewelry to be nothing short of perfect. Come see for yourself. Visit us in-store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
KSL News Time, 1245. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is rolling out their Light the World giving machines for the holidays again this year, and there will be 6 machines here in Utah. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a woman from Utah has been missing for nearly a week after she visited a beach near Santa Cruz, California. Third, traffic and weather together, Cormac.
Northbound I-15 in Bountiful still bogged down starting in Woods Cross as crews work on cleaning up a vehicle fire near 400 North. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Changes to the forecast. More 60s in store, then a cool down with more active pattern coming. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. All signs point to an end to the 43-day-long shutdown when the House votes tonight on the stopgap measure to fund the government through the end of January. It will also restore SNAP benefits. The Supreme Court last night extended its administrative stay on the Trump administration's fight to pay out only partial payments for November.
The Supreme Court's move seems designed to keep the justices from ever having to decide who was right in the battle over partial SNAP benefits. If the president signs the government funding bill into law, SNAP would be infused with enough money to last through the end of the fiscal year. That would likely render the pending dispute over partial benefits moot.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's expected to swear in Arizona's newest representative, Adalita Grajava, after refusing to swear in the Democrat during the shutdown. Freeze alerts remain in place as far south as Florida due to the cold blast this week that also brought the first round of snow to parts of the country. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints is bringing back their Light the World giving machines for the holidays. The Young Women General President, Emily Bell Freeman, says it's a way to connect with family and people all over the world.
I love when you gather there, and anytime you come to these giving machine events, you'll notice that you're not there by yourself. Usually you're waiting in line. For us, it was my kids and then now my grandkids who were looking ahead at that box to be thinking about what were they going to do, the piglets, the chicken, the medical kit, what were they going to give? And I love that thought that goes into how can I help? How can I make a difference somewhere in the world? And for me, every time I walk up to a giving machine, I feel that sense of anticipation that something good will come of this. That somebody's story will be changed, that somebody's life will be different because of this one moment.
Freeman says it's a very special experience.
I think one of the things that is so unique about this initiative is 100% of the funds collected go to these nonprofit organizations. And I think for people who are looking for a place where they can give and actually make a difference, these machines are one of those places that you know when you walk up to that machine and you choose your card and you give your money, every single penny is going to change somebody's life somewhere in the world.
Elder W. Mark Bassett, General Authority 70 and Executive Director of the Church Missionary Department, says it's a way to remind everyone that the holidays are what they're really about and what you can do for others.
Christmas is a time of giving, and we receive as well, but the important part of Christmas is remembering the gift of Jesus Christ. And as we give to others and sacrifice of our own means, that is a blessing to each one of us.
There will be machines in Salt Lake City, Orem, Ogden, Logan, and St. George again this year. You can find a full list and more details on when they are open at kslnewsradio.com. Let's get you up to date on the drive, traffic, and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Cormac Bone.
Northbound I-15 in Bountiful still bogged down starting in Woods Cross as crews keep working to clear the road after a vehicle fire near 400 North. Traffic is still restricted to only 2 right lanes, but good news for southbound drivers in Bountiful as I-15 opens up and delays start to die out. Celebrate the holidays with the Utah Symphony. Starting Thanksgiving weekend, sing along to the Hallelujah Chorus, hear the angelic voices of Celtic women, and much more. Visit utahsymphony.org/holidays. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. I got a 63 in store today, mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, 69, mostly sunny. Could see some record warmth with a south breeze. 65, mostly cloudy skies on Friday. Just a 30% chance for a shower as a storm system splits as it encounters Utah. Mostly sunny, 61 on Saturday. Sunday, mostly cloudy, 30% chance for a shower, 55. Down to 50 with rain showers likely on Monday. Tuesday, more showers, 46. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's mostly cloudy, 59 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. A quick check of the markets at this hour. The Dow up by triple digits. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Attention Jazz Nation. The long wait is finally over. Mountain basketball is back and better than ever. Let's go! All tickets are on sale now, and you won't want to miss the action. Jump on the opportunity to watch your favorite players live and in person. Whether you're after season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, the Utah Jazz has got your back. There's a plan for every fan. Don't miss out. Secure your seats today and be part of the excitement all season long. Let's go! Visit UtahJazz.com today.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
KSL News Time 12:53. A golden milestone of giving back is being celebrated in Chicago this week.
From now through Thanksgiving, Chicago's Black McDonald's Operators Association is giving back.
Food for the Body and Spirit is a program that we started 25 years ago. Wow. And it's a turkey giveaway.
Member Brian Graham.
At this time where there's a need for food and to be able to provide turkeys, baked goods, gift cards, gloves.
The goal to feed thousands of Chicago families and veterans.
We love to give back. We're totally involved in the community, and we're doing good in the hood.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
Watching Utah's money, private sector hiring has fallen in recent weeks. Payroll company ADP says more than 11,000 jobs were lost per week over the last month. That's compared to the numbers from a few months ago where 14,000 jobs were gained. Another streaming service is raising prices. Paramount Plus is planning to increase plan prices in the next year. The ad-supported plan will cost about $9. No ads will be a few dollars more to about $14. Weddings are costing Americans even more. The website The Knot says it's because of tariffs, and almost 20% of vendors say they've had to up prices on dresses, rings, and even cake ingredients. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 349 points, about 0.75%, sitting at 48,276. S&P up by 3 points, the NASDAQ down by 80 points. Researchers have found that shouting is more effective than speaking when trying to scare off seagulls. Now, the study tested how 61 European herring gulls reacted to different sounds. They included a robin song, a man's voice speaking, and a man's voice shouting. The gulls tended to walk away from the speaking voice, but flew away from the shouting.
Most folks wait till January to say, I should probably fix this or do something about how you feel. But you know what? You're going to go into 2026 with the resolution already done because soda helps you lose the weight now, so your New Year's all celebration.
You and I both started our soda weight loss journey in October and November, right? And I loved going into holiday parties knowing I had a plan. It wasn't just, I'm going to try not to. It was, this is my plan, because I've spoken with a nutritionist and I get a jump start on that, first of the year goal by beginning soda weight loss right now.
Yeah, there's no guesswork. You're supported every step of the way, and you need that. And right now, there's an amazing offer from Soda for you and your partner. You join, and your partner joins for free.
So why gain 20 pounds just to lose it in the new year? Go to Soda Weight Loss today and begin today.
That's sodaweightloss.com, SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Hello, Utah. I'm Josh with IWC Roofing. For over 25 years, my family has been safeguarding your homes with the finest roofing solutions. We value your time, and we're committed to replacing most roofs in just one day with a peace of mind 50-year shingle warranty. Call us today at 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. Ask us for the $1,500 off any full roof replacement. Financing available, 801-232-5690. Utah homeowners, look no further than IWC Roofing for a roof that stands the test of time. With 25 years of excellence, IWC is your trusted family-owned roofing expert. At IWC, we offer one-day roof replacements with top-tier quality materials, all with a 50-year shingle warranty. To keep a leaky roof from dampening your day, we're offering $1,500 off a full roof replacement. Get a free estimate. Call 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. 801-232-5690.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear.
Vaping is not safe for kids, teens, or young adults. It's just not.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals and volatile organic compounds into your body.
And nicotine, the same highly addictive substance found in regular cigarettes.
Nicotine can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s,
affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control, and priming the brain for other addictions.
Vaping products also come in kid-friendly flavors that can make them appealing to youth.
And many kids also use other drugs, like marijuana, in vaping devices.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping, because when you talk, they hear you.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Traffic and weather together. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And what's going on, Cormac?
Well, it's still emergency traffic northbound I-15 in Davis County. Still seeing heavy delays in the wake of a crash earlier today near 400 North in Bountiful. Northbound travel still down to 2 lanes. Delays starting around 2600 South in Woods Cross. And southbound traffic is still seeing slowing starting around Park Lane in Farmington. Attention Wasatch Front business and property managers. Don't wait for bad weather to schedule professional snow service with GoPave Utah. Your complete parking lot safety starts with GoPaveUtah.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Taking a look at the forecast for the Wasatch Front, a high today of 63, up to 69 tomorrow, then 65 for Friday, the last day. Well, it looks like Saturday's actually looking better now with a high of 61 as well. We do have a chance of showers moving in on Friday, about a 50% chance, but that decreases to 10% on Saturday, 30% on Sunday, and then it looks unsettled for Monday and Tuesday. Right now in downtown Salt Lake City, 59 degrees. Other temperatures in the area, Ogden at 58. St. George at this hour is at 60 degrees, but Park City only 55.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
While the government shutdown might finally be winding down after nearly 50 days, the need to help those impacted by the shutdown continues. Utah Food Bank has seen a rise in need over the past several weeks, and the need is only expected to rise as we move into the holidays.
And have the holidays now right on top of this SNAP problem. These folks are going to be struggling through December and January.
The time is 1 o'clock on Wednesday, November 12th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll get insights on potential financial strain for Utah's nonprofits because of the shutdown and what you can do to help them help our neighbors over the next few months. Also this hour,
we're expecting this vote tonight. It is expected to pass, but we are also looking at a very tight vote just given these slim margins.
If the shutdown vote goes through successfully tonight, how long might it be until everything gets back to normal? But first, our top stories. The Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints is rolling out their Light the World giving machines for the holidays again this year. There will be more than 120 of these machines around the world, including 5 here in Utah. When you go to one, you can purchase things like food, clean water, medical care, or even livestock for people in need around the world. Elder W. Mark Bassett is a General Authority 70.
But the important part of Christmas is remembering the gift of Jesus Christ. And as we give to others and sacrifice of our own means, that is a blessing to each one of us.
You can find a full list of where the machines are locally at kslnewsradio.com. Our top national story from ABC News. Democrats on the House Committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein have released a series of emails that reference President Trump. In one email written in 2011, Epstein wrote to his now convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, that Trump spent hours at his house with him.
We haven't heard back yet from the White House on this, but we have heard from Republicans on this committee, the House Oversight Committee. In a statement they just put out, they accused Democrats on this panel who released these files of, quote, carelessly cherry-picking documents to generate, quote unquote, clickbait. They say they ultimately will release these documents once they go through, redact things like victims' names, etc. And they say, quote, Democrats should stop politicizing this investigation.
That is ABC's Jay O'Brien. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up 340 points, sitting at 48,268. S&P pretty flat at this hour. The Nasdaq, though, down by 105 points. That's about 0.5%. Traffic and weather, it's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. We still have emergency traffic. Let's check in with Cormac Bone.
Yeah, it's I-15 in Davis County. It's still bogged down after a crash earlier today near 400 North in Bountiful. It's heaviest northbound I-15. They are still down to 2 lanes. Delays starting around 2600 south in Woods Cross. And southbound delays start to break up, but it's still slow and go through Farmington and Centerville. The Salt Lake Family Christmas Gift Show, November 13th through 15th at the Mountain America Expo Center. Shop more than 400 booths in apparel, jewelry, and more. Tickets online at familychristmasgiftshow.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Couple more days in the 60s before we go down into the 50s. A chance of rain coming our way on Friday. And then Saturday, 10% chance. Not much chance on Saturday. Right now, 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It looks like the government shutdown could soon be coming to an end, but it may still take some time for people to recover from their lack of pay for federal food assistance. The state has been supplying the Utah Food Bank with supplemental income during the shutdown to help, but that will stop as soon as the government reopens. So how will the food bank fare then? Joining me now to talk about it is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. And Heather, you spoke with the Utah Food Bank today, and how are things going?
Maria, as you can imagine, they've seen a huge spike in need because of the government shutdown, especially after SNAP benefits were halted. Jeanette Bott, president and CEO of the Utah Food Bank, says they can't know exactly how many people have reached out for help, but
some of the things we can track, which are immediate, tend to be the things that come through our webpage that we can track as people utilize the resources that are listed there. We have an opportunity for folks just to let us track when they call to ask for help. And just people simply calling us has increased 138% this month alone. So we've had to double our staff at our reception desk to field calls. Our webpage alone has gone up 148% as far as people clicking through, as there's a section in the webpage that talks about if you need help. and it gives you a calendar and a listing of pantries across the state with locations and hours, and people have really been utilizing that tool.
And in true Utah fashion, though, with the increase in need, they've also seen an increase in help.
We can't even begin to thank the people of Utah, whether those are individuals, whether they're families, whether they're corporations, whether they're foundations, whether they're businesses. Everyone is stepping up to help. And we finally had to go onto our webpage and put a note that said we couldn't take any more volunteers because we have a waiting list of 400 people. They want to give their time as in addition to their, the money. And then food drives have just exploded. I think within the first 2 days when this kind of started to become a real difficult situation, we had over 100 food drives immediately started and implemented by people across the valley. So every way of giving that could possibly happen, people have done for us, and we are so humbled by that.
She said when comparing notes with the leaders of food banks from other states, Utah's faring better than others because of the incredibly generous spirit of Utahns. And that's true for state funding, too. After SNAP was cut off, the state had promised to give the food bank $500,000 a week, up to $4 million, or until the government shutdown ended.
The state stepped up to help us through a crisis, and they were prepared to help us if this continued on for a long period of time. But we were both watching, the key being when the government reopens, then of course that means SNAP benefits could be distributed. And so it's like, okay, well, we'll help you weekly until the government opens, or up to $4 million. And so fortunately for us and for them, it looks like we went through a 2-week period of needing state assistance. But the great thing is that gave us the ability to purchase product that allowed us to have inventory to help the additional folks that we don't see in a normal circumstance.
So that means it looks like the state spent a total of $1 million so far at the food bank. And as the government looks to reopen this week as expected, that should be the total.
Okay, so do they expect the need to taper down as soon as the government shutdown ends, or is it going to take some time to get back to normal?
Bot told me that she thinks it's going to take some time to get back to normal, and it doesn't help that this is all right around the holidays.
Well, we learned some really valuable lessons from COVID, and that was a prime example of when it took people a longer period of time to recoup. And the same will happen with this. People have had, if you look at a federal employee who might have missed up to 3 paychecks, they're going to have some things that they're going to have to work on financially to get caught up on. It's going to take time. People who have missed their benefits, it's going to take time for them. And now we're coming into the holidays, which is really a difficult time for financially, I think, for a lot of people. And have the holidays now right on top of this SNAP problem. These folks are going to be struggling through December and January. So our plan is to look carefully at inventory, to look at our logistics, to be sure that we are able to distribute food and maybe extra food through those time periods to all the areas to each of the counties in the state, to be sure we get the state back as a whole from a product perspective.
So Bot told me she's had a lot of gratitude for everyone that's donated so far, but the message that is that even though the government shutdown may be coming to a close, the need is going to continue. So if you're able, keep those donations coming.
All right. Thanks, Heather. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson joining me live in studio. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
The end is nigh. The government shutdown could end tonight. There are still a few hours left, however, so all bets are off. But the House is expected to vote on the deal later this evening. ABC Jay O'Brien has a preview of tonight's potential developments with Start Here host Brad Milkey.
The last time the House was in the building was mid-September, September 19th, when they voted on an original piece of government funding legislation that they sent over to the Senate. And then Johnson has kept them out now for a long time because he said the ball was in the Senate's court.
Let me first welcome House Republicans back to the Congress after their 7-week taxpayer-funded vacation.
The House needs to take up this bill that the Senate passed because the Senate rewrote it. They changed the date of government funding. It extends government funding now to January 31st. And they also rescinded some 4,000 federal firings that the Trump administration carried out in the early weeks of the shutdown. Because of those tweaks and others, the House has got to come back and pass this thing.
All my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats in the House, you need to begin right now returning to the Hill.
And that has already proven to be a challenge. Why? Because air travel in the country is so chaotic right now because the government is shut down. So if Johnson can get all of his people back here, this thing will pass. So it's not necessarily a question of if it will pass. It's a question of how quickly can you get everybody back.
So when the shutdown finally ends, what happens? How much time will it take for things to go back to normal?
Well, first, these critical federal programs that we've been talking about over the course of the shutdown, like SNAP food assistance, for example, funding goes back into place in those programs almost immediately. Now, it doesn't necessarily get transferred to beneficiaries immediately. That could take time, and there's been some issues with distributing SNAP benefits over the course of this shutdown because there were partial payments that were made, and then there were some full payments that were made, and the administration said to rescind those. It's a big, long court battle. All of that to say, this legislation will fund SNAP, by the way, longer than it funds the federal government.
That will reopen the government until January 30th. Added to that are provisions to fully fund SNAP provisions through the end of the next fiscal year, which is September 2026.
Also, what does it do for those 1.4 million federal workers who've been going without pay over the course of the shutdown? They had one partial paycheck in early October, and then they missed a full paycheck later in October. They will get paid, both essential workers who've been showing up to work and not getting paid, and some 750,000 furloughed federal workers who have been told don't show up to work until the shutdown ends. Those furloughed workers come back, those essential workers continue on the job, but everybody ultimately gets paid. So they can expect money relatively quickly. Last thing here, what does it do for air travel? Well, it starts to pay those air traffic controllers who have been working without pay.
So they'll be paid within 24 to 48 hours of the government opening.
We already heard Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy say yesterday that after the government is funded, air traffic controllers will start to see at least 70% of the back pay that they are owed. And then in the remaining few days, they'll get that additional 30%.
We are going to look at those controllers who continually made the decision not to show up for work. And again, we have to look at the data. I would just tell you, I'm trying to bring more air traffic controllers in. I'm not trying to take air traffic controllers out.
So he's been saying to air traffic controllers, some of whom have been calling out, looking for other jobs, causing those delays at airports, come back. The pay's on its way. The pay is going to be distributed. It's time to return to work.
Air travel could take some time to get back to normal, too, even though airlines are private companies and aren't completely beholden to the government schedule. They still have to work around requirements and limits from the Department of Transportation. American airspace could fully reopen quickly, or it could be delayed. It all really depends on the number of working air traffic controllers. There was already a staffing shortage before the shutdown, and with more flights set to take off in time for the holidays, the mess in the skies might not get cleaned up as quickly as we'd like.
We've heard the Department of Transportation say it will take some time to get air travel back to normal. Exactly how long really depends upon how quickly those air traffic controllers who have been not showing up to work because they've been looking for other areas to keep a roof over their families' heads, put food on the table. It really depends on how quickly they return to work. But the estimate right now, we've been hearing from the Department of Transportation, is perhaps a week, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, to get, if everything returns back to normal, the air travel system back up to its normal functioning level. And that would be right in time for the Thanksgiving travel rush.
So I think our air traffic controllers are seeing an end to the shutdown and feel more hopeful.
And Brad, we're already seeing some signs that air travel is returning to normal. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy said they are starting to see fewer and fewer air traffic controllers call out sick than were earlier this week and last week.
On Saturday, we had 81 staffing triggers. Today, we have 4.
Because there is a sense that we are on track up here on Capitol Hill for the House to pass this government funding deal and end this shutdown.
The shutdown will go down in history as the longest shutdown ever, but will it really matter or make a difference in the way the country views Congress? Do the Democrats really get anything out of this deal and the shutdown? Jay O'Brien says not necessarily. He says at this point, there's nothing really in the works that would prevent health care premiums from skyrocketing at the end of the year. So for now, whether it's the vote to reopen the government or a deal to keep premiums low, only time will tell. House Democrats have released some of the Epstein files, shining some light on the potential involvement of President Trump. We'll discuss the timing of this release next. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Cormac?
Northbound I-15 still seeing heavy delays in Davis County as crews work to clear a crash from earlier this morning off the road. Traffic getting through on only 2 right lanes. Brake lights start around 2600 south and Woods Cross, and it's stop and go until 400 north. But southbound traffic is completely cleared up. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
She was the most luxurious ship of her time, a grand symbol of hope and elegance. No other story has captured our hearts quite like hers. Book your passage now for Titanic the Exhibition at the Shops at Southtown in Sandy. Walk through stunning recreations of Titanic staterooms, stand at the steps of the iconic Grand Staircase, and connect with unforgettable stories of passengers and crew. For a limited time in Sandy, secure passage at the TitanicExhibition.com. TheTitanicExhibition.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS?
Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A new chain of emails released by the U.S. House Democrats is supposedly shedding light on what President Trump may have known about the sex trafficking operations of Jeffrey Epstein. In one April 2011 email, lawmakers say Epstein wrote to his now convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, 3 years after pleading guilty to sex crimes involving a minor. In the email, he allegedly told her that he wanted Maxwell to know that Trump was the dog that hadn't barked. This morning, the administration responded to the emails.
The White House says that House Democrats have, quote, selectively leaked emails accusing lawmakers of creating a, quote, fake narrative about President Trump. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says in a statement the stories are, quote, nothing more than bad faith efforts to distract from the president's accomplishments. She calls the release of the emails a hoax and distraction from the government reopening. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
In another email from Epstein, he added that an alleged victim, whose name was withheld by Democrats, spent several hours at his home with President Trump. All of this coming ahead of the swearing in of a new Democratic representative from Arizona who has been waiting to be sworn in for nearly 2 months. Her vote poised to be the final vote needed to push a vote for a full release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Inside Sources hosts Holly Richardson and Greg Skordas discuss that situation today, which involves representatives from both sides of the aisle.
So the reason she's like a linchpin here is because they needed 218 members of the House to sign on a discharge petition, which was actually proposed by a Republican, Thomas Massey, saying, look, we need to release these files. And as you mentioned earlier, Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the ones that signed on as well. There's a couple of other Republicans. But she will be the 218th person, and that is what they need to be able to force a vote on releasing these Epstein files. So what's interesting is she was elected on September 23rd in a special election to replace her father, who was the previous representative. He passed away in March. And her assertion is that she was not being sworn in because the Speaker, Mike Johnson, didn't want these files released. That's her assertion. He says, no, it's just coincidental. And she was able to point to multiple other instances where people were sworn in, even when the House wasn't in session. And anyway, it's going to happen today. And as you mentioned, she feels like she has some things she needs to say to Mike Johnson.
The new representative is set to be sworn in about an hour. The vote to reopen the government to happen later tonight. ByHeart baby formula has recently issued a recall because of botulism-related deaths among infants using their formula. ABC's Mary Kakatos explains more on the Start Here podcast with host Brad Milkey.
On the list of grocery items you really need to trust, baby formula is pretty high. After all, a baby can't tell you if something seems off about their formula, and the repercussions of disease can be so much higher for infants than for the rest of us. Well, in recent weeks, the CDC says there have been several cases of botulism among infants who've had to be sent to the hospital. This week, the FDA said a large portion of these children have been consuming a specific brand of baby formula. Well, yesterday, this company expanded a voluntary recall of its formula as nervous parents ask doctors for more info. Let's go to Mary Kakatos with our medical unit. Mary, first off, botulism just sounds like a scary disease, but I don't know if we all remember what it is. What is botulism?
Yeah, Brett. So botulism is a serious illness. It's caused by a bacteria that produces a toxin. Now, this toxin can attack the body and attack the nervous system in particular, which can cause muscle paralysis, difficulty breathing, and even death.
We often have to give IV fluids or NG tubes to those babies so they can feed. Sometimes they have to go on respirators so that we can help them to breathe. We have to do a lot of physical therapy in those infants because they've lost all their muscle tone.
And when you talk to parents whose children have suffered from infant botulism, you can see how scary it can get and how quickly it can develop into something serious.
She started having difficulty eating, super lethargic. It was beginning of March, southeast Minnesota, super cold out. Took her outside without a jacket, wouldn't even cry. It was, no, there is something going on here.
Now, botulism can be treated with an antitoxin, and that toxin prevents the bacteria and the toxin from causing any more harm. So fewer than 5 out of every 100 people with botulism die, but people can suffer from fatigue, shortness of breath, and other effects for many years, even after the infection is cleared.
And then it does show up in food, and we've seen it in canned food and stuff, but baby formula seems extra scary, I'm sure, to a parent. How many cases are we talking about? What's the story with the baby formula?
Yeah, so this formula, it's called By Heart Whole Nutrition. It's a powdered infant formula. So there have been a total of 15 infants across the U.S., about 12 states, who have suffered from infant botulism. Cases started around August and have gone as far as November 10th, so that's just Monday. So about 40% of the infants consumed this formula before they suffered their effects.
To have this many children in such a short period of time begs the question of what really happened here.
So By Heart then announced a voluntary recall of 2 batches of its formula, saying that they had received notification from the FDA. And then the earlier recall was expanded to include all batches of its whole nutrition infant formula cans and its single-serve sticks nationwide, saying that they are cooperating with the FDA and federal authorities to look into what's going on.
Wow, okay, so that gets pretty big then. If we're talking about these 15 cases linked to By Heart, there have also apparently been like dozens of botulism cases this year. I guess what should parents be looking out for in general if they're nervous about this?
Yeah, so what parents need to know, according to experts, is to first check the cans. Check your lot codes and the use-by dates listed to see if those cans are part of the recall. If you have any of the recalled formula, dispose of it. Safely discard any of the affected products. Do not attempt to use them. Throw them away or take them back to the store, and you could get reimbursement.
And as of right now, there are no reported cases of this infant botulism here in Utah. And again, that is By Heart baby formula. And make sure you check your label. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Multiple confessions from sex offenders in Utah, but a lack of charges for those confessions. KSL Investigates has been digging into the story and has part 2 of that story. BYU has dropped in the college football rankings. We'll get some analysis in a few minutes. And KSL traffic, Cormac.
Northbound I-15 in Bountiful still down to 2 lanes as travel crews are working to clean up what's left of a vehicle fire from earlier today. Maria.
Looks like a little bit of unsettled weather coming in the forecast, so enjoy the 60s while they last. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein released a series of email excerpts today referencing Donald Trump. ABC's Jay O'Brien spoke to ranking member Robert Garcia about accusations that Democrats are playing politics.
Now, Republicans, the White House, they've accused you of cherry-picking emails out of this stack to paint the president in a negative light. What do you say to that?
Well, we're releasing all the emails. I mean, anything that we've ever received, we're going to put out to the public. So it's funny that Republicans are trying to somehow say that we are cherry-picking when every single piece of evidence that's ever been presented is because Democrats have fought to get it out. And Donald Trump could make this all go away tomorrow if he just released all the files.
The GOP-led committee also releasing 20,000 more Epstein emails. The House will vote tonight on a measure to end the 43-day shutdown. Flight cancellations, though, still stacking up today nationwide due to the strain on air traffic controllers working without pay. On Wall Street, stocks are higher as investors eye the end to the shutdown. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. The power outage between Marriott, Slaterville, and Ogden is down just to under 3,000 customers. Rocky Mountain Power says the cause is still under investigation, but the estimated time of restoration is 3 this afternoon. 2 break-ins and extensive vandalism in the last 2 weeks has left members of the United Methodist Church in Kearns nervous to attend. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
On November 2nd, Alicia Kolomatangi walked into the 2A O'Ofa United Methodist ready to give a sermon and saw the damage.
The water was overflowing on the floor. They must have used like an axe to like trash everything. They ripped open the door with the axe. There was trash everywhere, glass broken.
Then the next Sunday, they came in to see graffiti covering the walls. It's left members shaken. Kolomatangi says the building has been broken into 2 other times in the past 2 years, bringing the total to 4 break-ins. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
A search is underway in California for a Utah woman who disappeared just under a week ago. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
The Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office says Danielle Staley was visiting Rio Del Mar State Beach with a group of friends when she disappeared. Her belongings were left behind, and in their latest update posted online, investigators say new information indicates she may be at risk and foul play may be involved. They're asking for anyone in the area to review their surveillance cameras. Other media outlets in Santa Cruz say Staley was staying in a camper van with a friend. And her family here in Utah, they haven't heard any word from her, which is unusual. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment. The Dow is up by 383 points, sitting at 48,311. S&P 500 up by about 9 points, and NASDAQ down by 56 points. Traffic and weather. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. We continue to have emergency traffic coverage with Cormac Bone.
Northbound I-15 still seeing heavy delays in Bountiful. Crews are still restricting traffic to 2 lanes as they work to clean up a crash near 400 North. Delays start around 2600 South and Woods Cross, and it's stop and go until 400 North. From system install to fast fixes to deliver award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical, call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
A high today of 63, warmer still tomorrow with a high of 69. Showers moving in on Friday, but the high staying in the 60s for Friday and Saturday. Just a 10% chance of showers on Saturday. 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
As the temperature sinks a little lower and the wind blows a little harder, next thing you know, the winter cold is going to be seeping in through your old drafty windows. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products for custom-crafted, state-of-the-art windows that'll seal up your house and cut your heating bill. Get on their schedule before winter, and not only do you get factory direct pricing far below what the big name companies charged, but Advanced will knock an extra $2,500 off your quote. They'll create beautiful double pane windows with insulated frames, any style, any color, and the security features to keep your family safe. You'll get a lifetime warranty from a local company in business here for 39 years. Financing? 60 months, 0%. Or even buy now, pay later. So make the call. Seal up the house for winter with $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
The holiday season is shining bright at Junction Commons Park City. Join them for their 2nd annual tree lighting on Thursday, November 20th, starting at 4 p.m. Bring your family, friends, and neighbors for an evening filled with holiday magic. Enjoy live, festive music, delicious food trucks, and the always popular Swig Soda truck, serving up your favorite drinks. Kids will love getting creative with holiday crafts, and everyone can soak in the sights, sounds, and the magic of the holiday season. As the evening winds down, gather around the highlight of the night when Outlets Park City flip the switch and light up their beautiful holiday tree as they officially kick off the holiday season. It's the perfect way to celebrate. Festive, free, and full of holiday cheer. Don't miss the magic Thursday, November 20th at 4 p.m. at Junction Commons, Park City's 2nd annual tree lighting. Junction Commons, mountaintop holiday fun in Park City.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Convicted sex offenders confessing to many more crimes while in custody or while receiving treatment. But even with those confessions, there have been multiple cases where additional charges were never brought. KSL investigator Daniela Rivera dug into one particular situation involving a convicted child sex offender who confessed other crimes at least 3 times but never saw additional charges.
July 2022.
I got a plea deal, and it kind of makes me sick.
Inmate Wesley Salisbury wants to confess.
There's 2 undisclosed victims.
He's already a convicted child sex offender, serving his prison sentence in the San Juan County Jail. Salisbury tells a San Juan County Sheriff's deputy he wants these additional young victims to get justice.
It's this stuff I've been trying to hide.
Names, dates, details, it's all there, dropped right into the lap of a law enforcement officer. Surely this confession would lead to additional charges, right? Wrong.
Thanks to Utah's public records law, we can see the San Juan County deputy typed up this 3-page incident report documenting the confession. But there's no record in this report of the agency doing anything else to move the case forward.
Almost 9 months after his confession, Salisbury had a hearing in front of Utah's Board of Pardons and Parole, and he also told them about his additional uncharged crimes.
And you were never convicted on the other 2?
No, I haven't heard anything from this side of it. It came up during treatment.
Sir, convince me that you are okay to be paroled and you are safe to be paroled.
Honestly, I can't do that. I'm at the very beginning of a very long road.
He told the board he'd be happy if they kept him incarcerated and receiving treatment. Salisbury was granted an early parole date in February 2024, almost 11 months after that hearing. That's when a detective with Taylorsville Police came to talk with him. Someone listening to the parole hearing was alarmed by Salisbury's confessions and contacted their department. This is Salisbury's 3rd attempt at telling someone in the system what he had done.
I guess it just kind of petered out or something. I don't know. I haven't heard anything one way or the other.
In 30 years of law enforcement, I've never heard of this happening.
Greg Rogers is a retired FBI agent and prosecutor.
This is a first for me.
Pretty rare.
Very, very rare. It's inexplicable to me that this case hasn't been taken very seriously.
Emails obtained by the KSL investigators show the Taylorsville detective reached out to San Juan County to find out what they'd done with Salisbury's initial confession. The San Juan deputy replied in an email, "I remember this case. I'll look into it and make sure things get taken care of."
You don't need a year to corroborate a confession. You literally need days. That's easy work.
KSL also reached out to San Juan County to ask about this case. In a statement, the sheriff's office told us the crimes Salisbury confessed to occurred in Uinta and Duchesne counties, and the deputy left messages with the officials in those counties. Both the Uinta and Duchesne County sheriff's offices told us they had no records related to Salisbury.
That's administrative nonsense that should never get in the way of a child sexual abuse case.
As for Taylorsville PD's investigation, we learned it was closed after the detective got in touch with the victims who did not wish to be involved. In a statement, the department told KSL, "We respect the desires of the victims to not move forward with the court process."
There are numerous cases where victims don't want to go forward and the cases are filed.
Do you think this case should have been filed?
Yes.
Rogers says prosecutors would always prefer a cooperative victim, but in this case, they had what they needed most, Salisbury's own words on video.
I should have never taken the deal.
Now, this isn't the only kind of situation like this in Utah. Daniela Rivera took another look at this pattern and how it affects sexual assault victims and the offenders themselves.
How many little girls are you talking about?
It's something we've noticed.
It was probably 40.
In case after case.
You admitted that you had 4 uncharged victims that were under the age of 16.
During a parole hearing for Christopher Peck, a repeat sex offender, we learned he'd disclosed crimes against several children during treatment.
Is there any other victims?
Convicted rapist Christopher Browning also disclosed additional victims to the parole board.
There's 1, 2, there's 3, 4 that I've never listed.
There's 4 you've never been found guilty for?
I've never been charged with.
We started to see a pattern. Sex offenders disclose additional crimes they've committed against real victims, but no charges are filed. We wanted to understand why.
We took our questions to Jared Hill, Director of Sex Offense Programming for Utah's Department of Corrections.
We are focused on public safety.
He says the confessions we're finding out about during parole hearings are often too vague to lead to additional charges, and that's not an accident. It also happens in sex offender treatment.
This has come up a couple times with me where someone's been talking. I'll remind them, like, look, you're talking about some other cases. Like, if you give me details about this case, I'm a mandatory reporter.
Therapists working with sex offenders in Utah's prison system are mandatory reporters, but Hill says therapists and patients in the program have an agreement. Offenders are expected to be honest about their sexual and criminal past, but they're not expected to provide enough details to create new charges.
I think that if we required people to do that, we might not be able to get them to invest in treatment.
I understand why they may do that.
Greg Rogers is a retired FBI agent and prosecutor who worked sex crimes cases for many years. He has some concerns with that approach.
I'm not a fan of mandatory reporters stopping someone when they're about to say something.
Rogers says the focus should be on the violence and impact of sexual crimes on victims.
If they're about to give up the name of another victim who needs help, I'm not a fan of a therapist or a clergy shutting them down.
But he understands therapists and law enforcers have different goals.
Really, my job is to convince them to change their life. I need to get them to build a relationship with me. I need to get them to invest in a new everything.
Are there any examples of someone confessing to additional crimes in therapy here in Utah and those details being reported to local law enforcement?
I am positive that that happens and has happened, but I haven't been able to find any examples.
KSL 5 TV's Daniela Rivera reporting. You can get more information on her multi-part story at ksltv.com. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
BYU's first loss to Texas Tech last week hit them hard, knocking them down on the college football playoff rankings. The Cougars took a major hit, dropping from number 7 overall down to number 12. Co-host of KSL Sports Zone's JJ and Alex Carey, tells me the big drop shouldn't come as a big surprise.
It was not a surprise because I think the relationship that teams like BYU have with the college football playoff right now, and really some of the teams in the Big 12, they just, honestly, it's hard for the committee to overlook brands sometimes because there are 3 teams ahead of BYU with 2 losses, and they could make arguments about how, quote-unquote, good the losses are. But you've got 3 teams that are in front of them in the poll, Notre Dame at 7-2, and then both Oklahoma and Texas both have 2 losses apiece. And a couple of those losses aren't very good. There are not very good losses in there. But I think that because people will sort of give the benefit of the doubt to some of the bigger conferences and the bigger brands, you have to do just a little bit extra. You got to do 40% extra to be able to make sure that you're right there. Because if a team that was ranked 7th last week loses to the number 8 team in the country last week, and it's their first loss of the season, if that was one of the brands in front of them, they would have probably only moved down 1 or 2 spots. But again, you can't sit around and wish that that the Big 12 or if you're a BYU fan, to hope that they weren't slighted. You have to just make sure that you win games. And, all the coaches would say that too. Look, if we would have won, obviously then we would have been in a better spot. But they sit at 12. They're not in a dire situation at all. And the good news is that because Utah's playing so well, Utah stays at 13. And I think that they'll kind of hang out next to each other if their records are about the same the rest of the way through. The key is going to be if BYU gets to the conference championship game for a rematch with Texas Tech.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained that, though, because, I mean, we're thinking one game, one loss, and you move that far down.
That's the frustrating part with this, is that you have a committee who says, no, we wait everything out. We try to have these conversations. The reality is that the way that BYU lost, I mean, at one point they're down 26-0, but they're also on the road against one of the best teams in the country, who, by the way, Texas Tech, they actually moved up further than we thought they would move up. So the win against BYU for Texas Tech actually worked out better for them, because the committee goes, oh, they beat a number 7 team in the college football playoff. And so they moved them up. They actually had them jump Ole Miss in the poll, who they weren't ahead of last week. And so they moved up a couple of spots. But, yeah, you're going to tumble if you're not in the SEC or in the Big Ten for right now. And so all you have to do is just keep winning, and then the committee has to put you in your rightful spot, but you have to keep winning.
Okay, so what does this mean moving forward for BYU and Utah when it comes to the end of the season?
Utah, the only thing they can do is just keep winning. And big. It matters. The committee actually looks and goes, how much are they dominating teams? That counts for teams like Utah, because, again, you have to be – and Utah's brand is already big, and it gets recognized more than I think even BYU right now, in a sense, because they were in that Pac-12. They've won the Pac-12 championship in semi-recent memory, right? And so people have them at the top of their head because that brand has been performing so well. And they will be kind of right next to each other. I think that their fates are sort of tied together while they both keep winning. But the problem is that Utah needs other people to lose for them to be able to move up in the college football playoff rankings, and then also to possibly sneak into the conference championship game. There is a scenario where if they do well enough and they get high enough ranked, and they're beating teams so well that as a 2-loss team, even if they don't go to the conference championship game, the committee might have to consider how good of a team that they've been these past few weeks of the season, on top of if they just keep beating the heck out of everybody, it's going to be really, really good for them. And it's going to be an awkward moment for an SEC team who might have 3 losses. They might say, yeah, but they're playing an SEC schedule. But then Utah can just be like, look, we're killing everybody. And their only 2 losses at that point would be to a good ranked BYU team and a very good and very highly ranked Texas Tech team. And so that resume, I think, would be a lot better. But so you cross your fingers and hope the lottery will give you 3 teams in the Big 12, but most pundits still only have Texas Tech as the only team getting in from the Big 12.
Oh, okay. Well, still a lot of football to play.
Lots. That's the good news. And BYU at this point last year, they lost 2 games. And at this time of the year, you can't lose 2 games in November and hope the committee still gives you a lot of props. It really matters when you lose on the calendar, unfortunately, even if you have the same amount of losses or even quote-unquote good losses. But there is lots of football still yet to be played. They've all got 3 games left, and so this home stretch is going to decide the rest of the fate of the season for all these teams.
Again, Texas Tech has dethroned BYU as the highest-ranked team in the Big 12, but the Cougars still have the edge on the Utes. They stayed in the same number 13 spot. One of the most well-known sights of the holidays is here in Utah. It's the Red Giving Machines, and they're about to come back for the season. We'll get details from KSL News Radio's Adam Small after the break. But first is KSL Traffic. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. It's emergency traffic. Cormac?
Yeah, delays remain on northbound I-15 in Bountiful as crews keep working to clean up a crash near 400 North. In Bountiful, traffic is still down to 2 lanes. Backup still starts near 2600 South in Woods Cross, and it's stop and go until you pass the cleanup at 400 North. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, how good would it be to lose weight before the holidays instead of putting on weight for the holiday season? I want to take a minute and tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. It's a great program. It's helped me lose more than 40 pounds. It basically resets your metabolism so you can finally lose those pounds without the stress and frustration of trying to figure it out on your own or trying to work out for more than an hour a day. Now, it's a great program because it's all natural. There are no side effects. There are no injections, surgery, or pills. It's just a simple combination of healthy foods, just good eating that they are combined to burn off that stored belly fat very quickly. And since it burns off the fat quickly, it's easy to stick with. It's easy to follow. And you will love their app. Their app gives you daily inspiration, keeps you accountable, and lets you address any concerns the minute you have them. I've lost more than 40 pounds. Many of their clients lose up to a pound per day. Find out how you can save $200 now at slcfatloss.com, or you can call them 801-450-1882, slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone's stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner?
Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble.
I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It's become one of the more notable sights of the holiday season here in Utah, and it's coming back for another year. The Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints is preparing to roll out their Light the World giving machines, and there will be several machines here in Utah. KSL News Radio's Adam Small joined me with the details.
They've become kind of an annual staple around the holidays, and I know members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have become especially familiar with these. The church has been rolling them out around Thanksgiving and Christmas time pretty regularly since 2017, and they are back again. They are going to be in, as I look at my fact sheets here, 126 cities throughout the world. That encompasses 21 countries on 6 different continents. So the church, since 2017, has been gradually expanding this, where you go to these, they're little vending machines with like little cards, and on them you'll see something like, I want to buy a meal for someone in need. I want to get someone clean water. I want to get someone in a country where access to medical care is a little more scarce. I want to buy vaccines for kids who need them in another country, or I want in places where people have more livestock and grow their own food, I want to donate some chickens or I believe a piglet or something where people can in another country could have access to literal livestock, in clothing, all sorts of different things. You can go to this machine, basically pick, what do I want to buy for someone in need, and then the church partners, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will then partner with organizations here in the U.S. and around the world to then distribute those items that you purchased and give them to the people they feel that need them the most.
Okay, describe the thought behind this.
Well, a focal point, I mean, it's around the holidays, and they do it around the holidays for a reason. I mean, the center of the holidays, the church believes, is to remember the selflessness and the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, and that he gave his life for everyone on earth. And so that spirit of giving around the holidays, and they feel that's the best time to roll these out, is to get people in the spirit of giving around Christmas time. And so it's really getting people in that mindset of, how can I help and serve other people and give the way Jesus Christ did?
Okay. And then if somebody wants to give locally, where would they find the giving machines?
Yes, so there are 5 cities in Utah where they will be again this year. I believe that was the same cities as last year. So for our listeners here on the Wasatch Front, there will actually be 2 in Salt Lake City this year. The City Creek Center, there's been one there for years. It will be there again. I believe there will also be one at the Church History Museum as well. We will have all the full information on our web article on kslnewsradio.com. So if you have any questions about dates, when they open, where exactly to find them, head to that article on our website. So 2 in Salt Lake City. Orem, there will be one again there as well. Ogden, there will be one there. Logan and St. George.
Anything else notable about the giving machines you'd like to add?
If you really want to, I feel like a lot of people that I know at least really like to try to find ways of, how can I give to others around Christmas time? Because even if you're not religious, I mean, Christmas time is, you go out of your way to get something for people you care about, whether that's a simple gift, a big gift, give to your family, your friends, maybe people you don't even know. It's a season of giving. And if you are looking for a way to do that, these giving machines might be the best way to do that. Because again, even if you're not a member of the church, if you're not religious, your donation, I mean, these don't just benefit members of the church. They go to people all over the world in need of something. So if you want to try to find some way, which I know so many people that do, want to find a way to give to others, find a way to get outside of their own personal shell, these machines might be a great way to do that for you. And you can find them in several different places here in Utah.
And it's fascinating, the different types of ways that you can give and to the people that you can give to. That is KSL News Radio's Adam Small there. You can find more information and details on the locations at kslnewsradio.com.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The clock ran out this week on a key deadline to fix the Colorado River's water crisis, but Utah leaders say the deal isn't dead.
We were able to have enough of a framework put together that the federal government agrees with us in order for us to have a deal by the middle of February.
The time is 2 o'clock on Wednesday, November 12th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera will join me in a few minutes to talk about this framework and how it may affect the future of water within the state and the region as a whole. Also this hour,
she's a little worried, and she's like, it just makes me feeling uncomfortable to come to church on Sundays because it just happened twice already, or 4 times now. So this is like going on the 4th. She's like, it just makes it hard to come to church.
Parishioners at a Kearns church say they don't feel safe in their church after several cases of break-ins and vandalism. But first, our top stories. The Utah Food Bank has seen a huge spike in need because of the government shutdown, but also a huge spike in donations. They're hoping that even though the shutdown may be coming to a close, people will still help through the holidays. KSL's top national stories. House lawmakers are expected to vote tonight to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. It would fund the government until the end of January. ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has more.
But even if Republicans have everybody present, they can only afford to lose 2 votes. We are expecting most Democrats to vote no, considering the anger and frustration over the fact that after this weeks-long fight, they are not getting their key demand, which is an extension of those Obamacare subsidies. But look, you heard what Speaker Johnson said. President Trump has also been very optimistic that this is going to get across the finish line once it passes the House. It then goes to the president's desk for his signature, and all of that could happen within the span of tonight.
The Supreme Court has extended its administrative stay in the fight over whether the Trump administration has to pay out partial SNAP benefits. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
The Supreme Court's move seems designed to keep the justices from ever having to decide who was right in the battle over partial SNAP benefits. If the president signs the government funding bill into law, SNAP would be infused with enough money to last through the end of the fiscal year. That would likely render the pending dispute over partial benefits moot. The court's brief order noted Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson would not have extended the short-term stay she issued late last week, which halted partial payments to give an appeals court time to rule.
The stay is extended through Thursday, giving the House and the president 2 days to get the government reopened. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day up 326 points, not quite 0.75%, sitting at 48,254. S&P is up by 4 points. The NASDAQ, however, is down by 61 points. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. We continue our emergency traffic coverage with Cormac Bone.
Yeah, it's still northbound I-15 and Bountiful. Crews are blocking 3 left lanes as they clean up a crash near 400 North. Those delays are going to start after 2600 South in Woods Cross. Save now with UCCU Black Friday money deals. $150 cash for signing up for direct deposit and much more. Visit uccu.com/Black Friday. UCCU, love where you bank. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
High today of 63, 69 tomorrow, 65 on Friday, but a good chance of showers on Friday, about a 50% chance, and then down into the 50s for next week. 57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Save $2,500 on a new furnace and air conditioner from Any Hour Services. For more information, call Any Hour Services or schedule a free estimate online at anyhourservices.com.
Constipation with belly pain that keeps coming back and back and back. If your symptoms keep coming back, talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C. Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The 7 states that rely on the Colorado River just passed another big deadline without a final deal, but Utah's leaders say it's not a setback. They insist real progress is being made to share what's left of the shrinking river that supports 40 million people across the Southwest. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joins me now to explain where things stand and what it could mean for Utah. So, Eric, there was a lot of talk about this deadline, this Colorado River deadline, and the date came and went. So what exactly happened, and did the states miss it?
That's the big question, Maria. Technically, yes, they didn't sign a full agreement by the November 11th deadline, but Utah's negotiator Gene Shawcroft says they actually met what he calls a framework milestone. Basically, the 7 states have agreed on enough general ground rules that the federal government said, okay, keep going. Now they have until mid-February to fill in the details.
Okay, so Utah's saying it's progress, but what's really holding them up?
So at the heart of it, there's just less water in the system. The river doesn't flow like it used to, but everyone still wants their full share, and that's the hardest part, right? Deciding who gets less and how much less. And here's how Shawcroft described it during this week's press call.
The major sticking point, I think, is sometimes lost in the shuffle. The major sticking point is there's a whole lot less water in the system than we anticipated or has historically been. That's the sticking point. The question is, how do you divide a pie that's significantly smaller than it has been when everybody is used to getting that big piece of the pie? That's the big sticking issue, is how we deal with hydrology that's significantly less than what we've had in the past.
So, Eric, how could this affect Utahns specifically?
So Shawcroft says Utah already runs on what's called a priority system. That means people with older water rights, usually farmers or small districts that have been around the longest, get their water first. Those with newer rights could face temporary cutbacks if the drought keeps up. And he says Utah's ready for that because it's something we manage every year to some degree.
We are cut back every year by Mother Nature. So in Utah and most of the other basin states as well, there's what is called a priority system. So the entity or the individual who has earlier water rights than others get their water longer than those who have what we call junior water rights.
Okay, so what is next in this process? Are there more meetings ahead?
Yeah, so they're now meeting every week between now and February, and the focus is on finalizing a plan that keeps Lake Powell and Lake Mead from dropping to critically low levels. If the 7 states can't reach a full agreement by then, the federal government could step in with its own plan. That's the pressure point. Everyone wants to avoid a federal takeover.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Eric. That is KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joining us for that story. In other news, 2 break-ins and extensive vandalism in the last 2 weeks has left members of the United Methodist Church in Kearns nervous to attend. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
On November 2nd, Alicia Kolomatangi walked into the 2A O'Ofa United Methodist ready to give a sermon and saw the damage.
The water was overflowing on the floor. They must use like an axe to like trash everything. They ripped open the door with the axe. There was trash everywhere, glass broken.
Then the next Sunday, they came in to see graffiti covering the walls. It's left members shaken. Kolomatangi says the building has been broken into 2 other times in the past 2 years, bringing the total to 4 break-ins. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
The ruling on Utah's new congressional map has Democrats hoping that they can flip one of Utah's 4 House seats in 2026.
Now that Salt Lake County is its own congressional district, Democrats in Washington are already hoping they can help turn one of Utah's 4 House seats blue in next year's midterms. The chairwoman of the U.S. House Democrats' official fundraising arm told the Deseret News they will, quote, stand ready to help flip the 1st district, meaning they could end up pouring in significant resources for whoever ends up being the Democratic candidate. The court ruling on our new congressional map has also gotten the attention of Republicans around the country as they look to maintain control of the House in 2026. Attorneys representing the state are also expected to eventually ask the Utah Supreme Court to hear them out. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The changes in the map here in Utah and other states could impact the balance of power in Congress. Jason Perry is the director of the Hinckley Institute of Politics at the University of Utah. He says It also has some pretty serious local impacts.
If you look at this first congressional district as is on the plaintiff's map that was selected here, if you have a Democrat running in that race right there, there's going to be a lot of turnout. And there are a lot of Republicans in their Senate and House seats right there that are looking at dramatically increasing numbers of people voting, and it could influence some of those races as well.
Perry says the new map would create a competitive seat that Utah hasn't had in a long time. High school football fans can already score a win even before the kickoff. The Utah Transit Authority is giving free rides on tracks and buses to the high school football playoff games at Rice-Eccles Stadium this week.
We are providing it's what's called our Ticketed Fares program, which provides free fare to anybody attending an athletic event that takes place on the University of Utah campus. So that might be a football game, it could be a soccer game, it could be a ping pong match. But in this case, for the state football finals are taking place at Rice-Eccles Stadium. That's on campus. So if you have a ticket to the game, your ticket to ride is your ticket to the game.
UTA's Gavin Gustafson tells KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi there are many advantages to taking transit to the game. I'm sure you can already think of a few, not the least of which is the hassle of trying to find a parking spot.
Parking is a premium on most campuses, and University of Utah is no exception to that. So you save money on parking, you save hassle on trying to find a spot, you save your leg muscles having to walk across campus and hike up and down some hills, or parking, several blocks away and then walking up to 13th. So it's pretty nice to just be able to ride the train and get dropped off basically at the front door of the stadium.
For the best experience and to make sure that you get to the game on time, there are a few things you can do.
Get on an earlier train than you might need to. You might even get on further away than you might normally think of. I, for example, have gone to some University of Utah games, and I'll get on down in on the 72nd 100 down in Midday, just to avoid, as you get closer, the crowds start to fill in. So if you want a seat, you might want to get on further away even. It's going to be a busy weekend, and we encourage people to plan ahead. Download the Transit app is always a good tool to use, and plan your trip ahead out from there. So plan ahead a little bit and get on early and ride the train.
UTA spokesman Gavin Gustafson says your ticket to the high school game on the university campus is your ticket to ride the train. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Do you have an IRA or 401k? It's natural to think of this as being your money, right? But remember, you still have to pay taxes when you withdraw this money in retirement. And you could be paying a lot more in taxes on these accounts than you know. A lot more. Learn the strategies that can help you reduce or eliminate your taxes in retirement. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Right here on KSL News Radio 1027.
At Common Spirit Health, we know that lifelong health and well-being starts with primary care. So we have doctors and providers who see you, hear you, know you, and understand you. Because understanding you means understanding your needs. And that leads to a deeper knowledge of the prevention, wellness, and treatment options that may be best for you. It's primary care that treats your whole family like family. It's primary care with human kindness. Discover all the ways you can find and connect with a primary care provider at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Utah's ski resorts are pushing back opening dates as warm temperatures delay winter storms. And National Weather Service meteorologist Monica Traphagen says we still have warm, dry days ahead.
So far in November, we've been warmer and drier than we normally see, which is kind of a contrast to the very wet October we had. We've been under the influence of high pressure, which is bringing, dry, stable, and pretty mild conditions. And we'll be seeing that continue for much of the week.
Traphagen tells KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis, although there is a change coming, right now it's difficult to say how much it might help the resorts.
There is a storm system coming, but we're seeing a lot more uncertainty than usual in our guidance as to the details of what will happen. And so things are kind of evolving on that. But our current thinking right now is that there's a Pacific storm system that's going to start to come through beginning Friday. So we could get a little bit of precipitation on Friday, but It's now looking like the day that has the greatest potential for precipitation will be on Sunday. And it looks like, southern Utah will probably do better than northern Utah, but there is a chance of snow for all of the mountains of Utah. As far as the totals, like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty with the details, so it's hard for me to say precisely how much we'll see, if it'll be significant, and how much it would help these resorts get to their openings. But we are looking at a change in the pattern that will bring us a storm late in the weekend, and then it looks like there's another one behind it for early next week.
It's just been too warm to operate snowmaking machines, but an end is in sight starting on Friday.
It looks like could we see a little bit on Friday, a little bit of, mostly a lull, pretty dry on Saturday, but then Sunday into early Monday we'll have that. And then a little bit of a break, and it looks like the next storm would come Tuesday into Wednesday of next week.
Now, Brian Head is pushing its opening date back 2 weeks to the 21st. Solitude now plans for the 16th. Usually first to open, Brighton has yet to announce an opening date. Obesity medications have risen in popularity over the past several years, but a lack of insurance coverage is prompting many people to seek out unsafe knockoffs. We'll get more on a warning today, coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards, and it is emergency traffic. Cormac?
Yeah, you got stop-and-go traffic northbound I-15 in Bountiful as crews work to clean up a crash near 400 North. Traffic getting by on just 2 right lanes. Those brake lights start around 2600 South and Woods Cross. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details. You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
As the temperature sinks a little lower and the wind blows a little harder, next thing you know, the winter cold is going to be seeping in through your old drafty windows. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products for custom-crafted, state-of-the-art windows that'll seal up your house and cut your heating bill. Get on their schedule before winter, and not only do you get factory direct pricing far below what the big-name companies charged, but Advanced will knock an extra $2,500 off your quote. They'll create beautiful double-pane windows with insulated frames, any style, any color, and the security features to keep your family safe. You'll get a lifetime warranty from a local company in business here for 39 years. Financing? 60 months, 0%. Or even buy now, pay later. So make the call. Seal up the house for winter with $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. 9100. That's 801-850-9100 or go to advancedwindows.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A warning today about the use of GLP-1 medications, the prescription drugs that help people lose weight. Many insurances don't cover these medicines and is pushing patients to use unsafe knockoffs. I spoke with Dr. Angela Fitch, past president of the Obesity Medicine Association, to learn more.
Well, in particular, the compounded GLP-1 medications are the issue that we see most commonly right now. Medications such as GLP-1s have been pivotal in terms of helping patients to lose weight and maintain weight reduction, as well as make significant health gains as it relates to heart disease and sleep apnea, diabetes, other chronic diseases as well. But the compounded versions are just not the same as the original FDA-approved branded versions, and that's what consumers need to know, is you need to understand that they're not the same and what those risks are going to be when you're seeking treatment.
Okay, so why are they, first of all, turning to these knockoffs?
Well, because insurance doesn't cover obesity like it does other chronic diseases for decades, it has been stigmatized and it's been thought that, patients should be able to just lose weight on their own, right? Everybody's been told multiple times to just, if they ate better, if they exercised, they would not have this disease. When we know that that's not the case at all, meaning we know scientifically now that obesity is a complex chronic condition, much like other chronic diseases, and deserves treatment with not only lifestyle intervention, but also medications and surgery and procedures. All of that has to come together to optimize any chronic disease treatment. And that's what we're experiencing, is because we don't have good coverage for these treatments, it then makes it harder for patients to access, and then they go and get a risky knockoff version.
So why are they risky? What's dangerous about them? What are the effects?
The compounded versions are just not approved by the FDA. So you could be getting no medication in that vial. You could be getting twice as much medication in that vial. There isn't as much regulation around them as there are the original branded FDA versions. And so again, because of that, they're also oftentimes adding other things to the medication, such as vitamin B12, and they're doing this in order to get around some of the legal implications around compounding. And when we do that, we don't know what happens when those two things sit together, in a vial. It might make the medication less effective. It might make it have properties that would lead to risk of human health and well-being. So it's not something that we consider that patients should be, accepting that level of risk for any type of potential benefit of that treatment.
So are there other alternatives? What is your advice for those patients?
I think our advice is to really talk to your doctor, right? Talk to a clinician who you respect, who's going to be taking care of you for the long term, because this is a long-term chronic condition. This is not something we should treat episodically. It's not something we should treat lightly. And you should talk to your doctor about treatment options because the cost of these medications is coming down. Each of the pharmaceutical companies has direct-to-consumer websites where the cost is cheaper than if you were to buy them on the sort of, at the local pharmacy. And so again, seeking out, other medication options that may be more affordable, other treatment options that may be more affordable, or, other ways to get access to FDA-approved medications is what we're recommending, especially today.
Doctor, what is your recommendation for policymakers?
I think, we've already seen some incredible policy happening last week. We've been advocating for 13 years now, going to Capitol Hill. I myself have been there year over year, trying to advocate for Medicare to get access to obesity treatment. Because Medicare didn't have coverage for obesity, then that led to the disease state itself being carved out of insurance plans. And so because it's carved out and isn't effectively treated, this is what the issues we're talking about right now. And now I think, that Medicare, as of next year, Medicare has the opportunity to cover these medications for certain Medicare beneficiaries. That will be game changing in terms of hopefully advancing access for all of the millions, hundreds of millions of Americans that need access to care.
All right. Any final thoughts for us?
I think if people want more information, we encourage them to go to the Obesity Action Coalition. That is our patient advocacy arm for people living with obesity. And they have a lot of information on their website, www.obesityaction.org. And you can find information about what we talked about here today, as well as where you can find a clinician or a physician that will help you with your obesity treatment.
Dr. Angela Fitch is the former president of the Obesity Medicine Association. 9 years ago, Jeff Silvestrini went from respected attorney to beloved mayor as he assumed the role of the first mayor of the brand new city of Mill Creek. In that time, he has done tireless work to foster the community connection of his city, including the now iconic Mill Creek Commons. Now, Mayor Silvestrini has announced his retirement after being diagnosed with leukemia, which is a form of blood cancer. Mayor Silvestrini joined Greg and Holly this morning on Inside Sources to give some background on his time as well as to reflect on his achievements.
So a couple things. I mean, first of all, after advocating for Mill Creek to incorporate into a city, I kind of felt some responsibility to make sure that it got off to a good start, and I kind of thought I might be able to do that. And then the other thing is that I had people on both sides of that incorporation divide approach me and ask me to run, basically. So it was that when the anti-incorporation leadership came and took me to breakfast and said, okay, you got this now, you need to run for mayor, I took that seriously. But I'll tell you what, it was an exciting thing to do, kind of scary to start a new city, but it's been one of the most gratifying things I've ever done and the highlight of my career, and I really enjoyed it. So it's been a fantastic ride.
Silvestrini also reflected on his achievements.
There are so many things I could talk about. I'm really proud of the work that we did to start a Promise program to help kids, particularly from who are new Americans or refugees, succeed in school so that they can have the kind of lives that we all aspire to. That's one thing. And secondly, managing the finances of the city to achieve a AAA bond rating within the first 9 years after incorporation, which is, as I understand it, is pretty unusual. It usually takes more time. That these rating agencies want to look at 15 years of financial records, and we just didn't have that. But we've been able to establish a rainy day fund or a fund balance in the city budget of the state statutory maximum, and that went a long way with those rating agencies.
The mayor's tenure ending this week, and we wish Mayor Silvestrini the best of luck in his future endeavors. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. As the government shutdown looks like it's ending, what does that mean for food banks here in Utah? We'll get details. Another chance tonight to see those beautiful northern lights in the sky, how you can get the best pictures from a photography expert. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Northbound I-15.
Sorry, Cormac.
No worries. Northbound I-15 in Bountiful seeing heavy delays as traffic is still down to 2 lanes near 400 North. Maria.
And the forecast, it is changing. Those clouds have moved in, which means rain is headed our way, but it looks like we'll probably see it on Friday. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The end of the government shutdown could come within a matter of days, with the House set to vote tomorrow on the Senate bill to pass the funder through January. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy still says there is air traffic controllers on the job without pay, and that could also lead to some disruptions if the shutdown doesn't wind down before Thanksgiving. On the House floor just moments ago, House Speaker Mike Johnson swearing in Arizona's newly elected representative, Grijalva.
And while we celebrate this moment today, our American promise is under serious threat. Basic freedoms are under attack. Healthcare premiums are skyrocketing. Babies are being ripped away from their parents by masked agents. We can and must do better.
In just a matter of hours, the House will take a vote on a measure to fund the government and end the 43-day shutdown. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Sundance is honoring late founder Robert Redford. Here's KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman with more.
The Institute announced both a fundraising event and a new award honoring Redford's legacy. The fundraiser will be a part of the annual Sundance Film Festival, reflecting on Redford's legacy, vision, and support for independent storytellers. Money raised will go towards programs, grants, and more put on by the nonprofit. This year's festival will also be the inaugural year of the Robert Redford Luminary Award, which will be presented to two of Sundance's long-term creative advisors. The Institute says that it will recognize artists who create possibility where there wasn't, thus doing their part to make the world a better place. Redford is remembered for his work as an award-winning director, but also for his unwavering support for independent cinema. Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
Other stories KSL is following. The Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints is bringing back their Light the World giving machines for the holidays, but to more countries than ever before. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
These vending machines allow people to buy anything from food, clean water, clothing, educational resources, medical care, and even livestock. The church then works with a number of charitable organizations to get these items to people who need them all over the world, including right here in Utah. They have expanded their initiative this year to 21 countries across 6 continents. Sister Kristen M. Yee, second counselor in the Relief Society General Presidency, tells me these machines are intended to invite people to come closer to Jesus Christ.
If you're having a hard day, look for somebody to serve, or maybe somebody around you that might need something simple, and you'll find that it will help you too. That's how it works. It's reciprocal. You bring the Savior's relief, you find His relief, and that's the beauty of this.
There will be machines in Salt Lake City, Orem, Ogden, Logan, and St. George again this year. You can find a full list and more details on when they're open on KSLNewsRadio.com. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment at the close. The Dow up 326 points to end at 48,254. S&P up by 4 points. The NASDAQ down by 61 points. Traffic and weather. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Cormac Bone.
Still down to 2 lanes in Bountiful on northbound I-15. Crews on scene and working to clean up what's left of a crash and vehicle fire near 400 North. Those delays start at 2600 South in Woods Cross. From system install to fast fixes to deliver award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
High today of 63. A lot of clouds out there. Tomorrow, 69 with a tad of sunshine, but then showers moving in for the weekend. Friday, 50%, 10% chance on Saturday, and a 30% chance on Sunday. 57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cypress Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypresscu.com today.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much-needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
The holidays are all about opening your home and your heart. And Zero Res is here to help you do both. Whether you're hosting family or coming home after traveling, there's nothing like walking into a house that feels fresh and clean. But did you know your carpets can hold up to 40 pounds of dust, dirt, even pet dander and bacteria? Zero Res cleans it all the right way, using patented chemical-free technology that leaves no residue. It's safe for kids, pets, and the people you love most. And this month, Zero Res is helping the whole community shine a little brighter. Donate canned food to the food bank through your Zero Res technician and get a 4th room free as a thank you. That's on top of getting 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for just $139. So get your home holiday ready while giving back to those in need. Visit ZeroRes.com today. Spelled the same forward or backward. Zero Res is the right way to clean.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It looks like the government shutdown could soon be coming to an end, but it may still take some time for people to recover from their lack of pay for federal food assistance. The state has been supplying the Utah Food Bank with supplemental income during the shutdown to help, but that will stop as soon as the government reopens. So how will the food bank fare then? I spoke with KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson to find out how things are going for the food bank.
As you can imagine, they've seen a huge spike in need because of the government shutdown, especially after SNAP benefits were halted. Jeanette Bott, president and CEO of the Utah Food Bank, says they can't know exactly how many people have reached out for help, but
some of the things we can track, which are immediate, tend to be the things that come through our webpage that we can track as people utilize the resources that are listed there. We have an opportunity for folks just to let us track when they call to ask for help. And just people simply calling us has increased 138% this month alone. So we've had to double our staff at our reception desk to field calls. Our webpage alone has gone up 148% as far as people clicking through, as there's a section in the webpage that talks about if you need help, and it gives you a calendar and a listing of pantries across the state with locations and hours, and people have really been utilizing that tool.
And in true Utah fashion, though, with the increase in need, they've also seen an increase in help.
We can't even begin to thank the people of Utah, whether those are individuals, whether they're families, whether they're corporations, whether they're foundations, whether they're businesses. Everyone is stepping up to help. And we finally had to go onto our webpage and put a note that said we couldn't take any more volunteers because we have a waiting list of 400 people. They want to give their time as in addition to their, the money. And then food drives have just exploded. I think within the first 2 days when this kind of started to become a real difficult situation, we had over 100 food drives immediately started and implemented by people across the valley. So every way of giving that could possibly happen, people have done for us, and we are so humbled by that.
She said when comparing notes with the leaders of food banks from other states, Utah's faring better than others because of the incredibly generous spirit of Utahns. And that's true for state funding, too. After SNAP was cut off, the state had promised to give the food bank $500,000 a week, up to $4 million, or until the government shutdown ended.
The state stepped up to help us through a crisis, and they were prepared to help us if this continued on for a long period of time. But we were both watching, the key being when the government reopens, then of course that means SNAP benefits could be distributed. And so it's like, okay, well, we'll help you weekly until the government opens, or up to $4 million. And so fortunately for us and for them, it looks like we went through a 2-week period of needing state assistance. But the great thing is that gave us the ability to purchase product that allowed us to have inventory to help the additional folks that we don't see in a normal circumstance.
So that means it looks like the state spent a total of $1 million so far at the food bank. And as the government looks to reopen this week as expected, that should be the total.
Okay, so do they expect the need to taper down as soon as the government shutdown ends, or is it going to take some time to get back to normal?
Bot told me that she thinks it's going to take some time to get back to normal, and it doesn't help that this is all right around the holidays.
Well, we learned some really valuable lessons from COVID, and that was a prime example of when it took people a longer period of time to recoup. And the same will happen with this. People have had, if you look at a federal employee who might have missed up to 3 paychecks, they're going to have some things that they're going to have to work on financially to get caught up on. It's going to take time. People who have missed their benefits, it's going to take time for them. And now we're coming into the holidays, which is really a difficult time for financially, I think, for a lot of people. And have the holidays now right on top of this SNAP problem. These folks are going to be struggling through December and January. So our plan is to look carefully at inventory, to look at our logistics, to be sure that we are able to distribute food and maybe extra food through those time periods to all the areas to each of the counties in the state, to be sure we get the state back as a whole from a product perspective.
So Bot told me she's had a lot of gratitude for everyone that's donated so far, but the message that is that even though the government shutdown may be coming to a close, the need is going to continue. So if you're able, keep those donations coming.
That is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. Democrats on the House Committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein have released a series of email excerpts that reference President Trump. In one April 2011 email released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, lawmakers say Epstein wrote to his now convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, telling her that he wanted her to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Epstein added that an alleged victim, whose name was withheld by House Democrats, spent hours at the house with him. Now, Republicans in the White House have criticized the release of the email excerpts. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt answered questions from ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce on the emails.
In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
But given your interest in transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns?
That is ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt there. A vote on releasing the full Epstein files could be held soon, thanks to the newest Democratic representative finally being sworn in today, more than 7 weeks after she was elected to represent Arizona. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
More people show an interest in dating and potential relationships in the fall and winter months, but why is that? I spoke with instructional matchmaker and dating coach Kristen So Cool to get some answers.
Oh, you know what? This is a seasonal thing. I think it has something to do with the collective sigh we take when summer is over and all of our travel plans sort of come to a close. And then I think it also has something to do with the shift in the time change where it's dark at 5:30 and there's only so much Jeopardy episodes you can watch in one night. So
Right.
we need some company.
So let's talk a little bit about nature versus nurture. I mean, are we drawn to people because of societal pressures or psychological ones?
It really has a lot to do with both, right? The nature and the nurture. Humans have been conditioned over eons of time to know that your quality of life is a lot better if you have somebody to watch your back and divide labor and, keep you company during that whole living process. So it has a lot to do with the nature. And then we see other people and we can't help but compare that other people look like they might be having more fun than we're having. And we want that too. So I really think it's both.
So online dating was a big thing for a while, but I understand that in-person dating is growing at this point.
It really is. It all kind of comes back to the pandemic times. And, there was sort of this social atrophy after we all sort of went virtual for everything. And online dating was, never bigger. I have been, doing this kind of work as a dating coach and a matchmaker for 20 years. And I was astounded at how swamped I was with people interested in improving their online dating presence because that's what we could do. But now that we can be in person and we can safely do that, there is much more of a shift of people wanting to meet in real life. And the issue that we're running into is we have lost a lot of that connective skill that we used to have, before the invention of smartphones and certainly before the pandemic, right? So, I do a lot of work with people, helping them ramp up how do I start a conversation with stranger? How do I take it to the next level if I'm interested in somebody and I want to see if there's a romantic prospect? So, business is good for me in that way.
That is instructional matchmaker and dating coach Kristen So Cool on why more and more people are trying to find love during the colder months. After the break, let's talk about those beautiful northern lights you may have seen last night. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Cormac?
You'll want to avoid northbound I-15 in Bountiful. Traffic getting by on only 2 lanes near 400 North as crews work to clean up a crash. Delays start at 2600 South and Woods Cross. And a new crash on westbound I-80 in South Salt Lake as you approach State Street. They're in the right shoulder and out of traffic. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well,
I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Hey guys, it's Woodrow from Mint Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED? Well, you are not alone, and now there's a real solution that treats the root cause, not just the symptoms. Introducing our trifecta approach, a breakthrough combination of acoustic wave therapy, hormone replacement, and cryotherapy, all designed to restore blood flow, boost performance, and rebalance your hormones. Whether it's ED or hormonal imbalance, if you're ready to reignite your love life, this treatment helps bring back your energy, your drive, and your confidence. And right now, when you call, you'll receive a free consultation, a blood flow ultrasound, and an intimacy gift. That's a $650 value, absolutely free. And here's the bonus. The next 20 callers will also receive a 5-night stay at a luxury resort in Hawaii just for taking the first step. But you must call now. With 2 convenient locations in Layton and Sandy, help is closer than you think. Call 801-804-8000 now. That's 801-804-8000. Mint Medical Clinic. We'll get you back to mint condition.
Make game day yours with the Utah Mammoth app. Get your tickets, order food and drinks without leaving your seat, track live stats, and stream every game with Mammoth Plus, all in one place. It's the ultimate game day essential, designed for Mammoth fans. Stay connected to your hometown team and never miss a moment. Download the Utah Mammoth app today on iPhone and Android. Turn on push notifications and make every day game day. Tusks up.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Much of northern Utah had the chance last night to see a spectacular display in the night sky, the Northern Lights. If you missed the chance, don't worry too much. You might be able to see them tonight, too. I spoke with the director of the Clark Planetarium, Duke Johnson, to get more information on what the Northern Lights actually are.
So the Northern Lights are beautiful displays that we get from our upper atmosphere as high-energy particles collide largely with oxygen and then give off light. And so we get to see that as green and red, which is kind of the colors we've seen over the last day or so.
I have seen a lot of people very excited about this. Is it a rare occurrence here? Is that why we get so excited?
It is for us. We're lucky if we get to see Northern Lights. It was a year and a half ago or so, once or twice in a couple of years when the solar activity is really highest. So other years, we don't get to see anything. It is very rare for us in Utah.
Okay. So people can still see these tonight, or for how long does this last?
So the Northern Lights are caused by solar storms, and so We have a large number of particles hitting the upper atmosphere today and into tonight. And so there's a decent chance that we'll see them tonight if we can find clear skies. After that, the odds drop way, way down.
So where would somebody go if they actually did want to see them?
Well, the forecast is for clouds through most of the area here. And so I'd recommend heading out west because it's forecasted to clear a little bit earlier as you get more toward Nevada.
Okay, so you mentioned these are caused by solar storms. Can you tell us a little bit more about these solar storms? What's happening?
So the sun, in its very active cycle, gives off a lot of particles, and those particles are sometimes aimed at Earth. So they come from coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, and flares, and there's different ways that particles can escape the sun, and it's when those high-energy particles hit our magnetosphere and they're funneled into the poles that they actually cause interactions with, again, largely oxygen, but cause that glow that we see.
Mm-hmm. So after dark is when you can see them, but is there a particular time in the evening that is better than other times?
In a lot of places in the world, there is a better time, and the time that we like to look here in Utah, it's often better from sunset to about 11:30, and that's when the auroral oval kind of dips down. And if it's going to be favorable, it is there. They can happen other times, but I think that's kind of the main window.
All right. Any final thoughts on the Northern Lights?
I'd just like to encourage everybody to get out and try and see these things. It is a very rare occurrence, and it's certainly worth doing here. And if you ever get a chance to travel up north, wherever that is around the world, travel north and see them for yourselves.
Now, if you've been on social media today, you've probably seen a lot of really pretty pictures of the aurora. But if you went outside last night and tried to see the lights, you might have felt a little let down. So why the discrepancy? Joining me now, one of KSL's own photography experts, Kennedy Camarena. She's a digital content producer for KSL News Radio and KSL TV. So, Kennedy, why do the pictures of the lights look better than what you actually see in person?
So basically, when it comes to the lights that you're seeing in person, your eyes, like the naked eye, cannot see certain lights that cameras can see. Your eyes can only, I think it's the irises, it can only open so much. I don't know much about eyes, honestly, so I don't know about that part. But when it comes to cameras, they have all sorts of things, like their lens can open up, their shutters can stay open longer, and so they can allow more light to come in. And a lot of people actually think that these photos they're taking are like their iPhones, for example, will add on filters to the lights to make them more bright, when that's actually not right. When your camera is taking pictures of these lights, it's letting in light and colors that your eyes actually can't see. So all of those colors are there. We just can't see it with the naked eye.
What's amazing about that is every time I try to take a picture of the moon, it's kind of the opposite. It's really tough to take a picture of the moon with your camera and have it look anything like what you see.
Yeah, exactly. So you can actually mess with like the aperture and ISO, things like that on your camera, on your phone camera, and on professional cameras like Canon cameras, things like that, Sony, to make it so you can see things like the light might look brighter, for example, or the northern lights. You can see them more compared to your naked eye.
Okay, so how do you do that?
So I actually have some notes written down. With digital cameras, just short advice, without getting too technical, the biggest thing you want to remember is to have a high ISO set and to set your shutter speed between like 3 to 15 seconds or so that way the light can be let in more. The more light coming into your camera lens, the more you'll be able to see the northern lights. And then you also want to set your aperture between 2.2 to 8. Pretty much the biggest advice I'd say is just play around with your phone or your camera settings and just see what kind of photos you're getting, and then use a tripod. That's the number one thing. If you're not using a tripod, then your photos are going to come out blurry, and even just a tiny, tiny bit, they'll come out blurry for sure. So use a tripod. That's the number one thing I'd say.
I'm feeling a little bit deceived by all those photos that I saw today. It's like, okay, so maybe I did see some of the northern lights, but they just didn't look as wonderful.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you are. Go to an area where it's dark as you can get, like a field even. Like last night, I was in Layton, and I was surrounded by all of these lights, and cars were driving past. Their lights were affecting my photos. And I basically just made sure to be in a dark area, and I was able to see the lights better.
Perfect. Kennedy, thank you. Now, you're a photographer, Jeff Kaplan.
Yeah.
So
Back in
have
the
you
day.
gone out and tried to take pictures of the Northern Lights?
No, and you know why? I'm colorblind. I look up at all of that and I say, wow, it looks like sky.
You're missing out.
Yep.
Kennedy, thanks so much for being with us. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
No colors when you work in radio. KSL News Time, 3 o'clock. I'm